No further with your fashion tips. So, to close tonight's show, bring back for a second time the wonderful Isabel Bermudez.
From the sublime to the ridiculous. Okay, we have now. I walk very often down by the river at Mortlake, and this poem is a poem welcoming May. It's May, cow parsley. Sunlight makes a home here, turns these tall stalks to a May haze, intricate after dull, warty dock, white foam appearing year on year like half-remembered lines in sleep. Gnats, furious after the mild winter, swarm above its whiteness, brush my face and hair. Hoverflies settle on upturned parasols of flower heads, dipping, quivering details. And I'm alive to its white noise, a cloud which barely stirs in river breeze, a lightness that won't be cut or kept in vases, swathing each side of the towpath on the Thames. I want to run a hand through it, this thickened air, and grasp what it is that makes of love a weed so ordinary and rare. Back by the river, a bit further upstream, the river becomes a mixture of salt water and fresh water. The river gets very muddy, so the Thames near Richmond. Between the towpath and the playing fields lies a stagnant watercourse. Here a fallen elder, its limbs in water, still grows shoots and buds these past 2 years, while rats lie low at the muddy edge. This parallel life, sometimes foul-smelling, where everything's slowed down, runs beside the wider river's ebb and flow. Here is all the older river knew, of cuckoo flower, alder, ash, a sloping bank where cowslips grow. But this is a shadowy place, few pay much attention to. A tramp sometimes sits with his cap by the bridge, and odd coins drop as payment for this stretch, where in dank waters the dead dream on, their vital signs a coot's ball dome, a moorhen's beak, the heron's shriven stare. And I turn to the Thames, its wide expanse seeming to stake a more urgent claim, as a cormorant, fresh from the chase, hangs its wings out to dry, then once again to the dark ditch where a spring sun washes the first pale leaves of that elder in a mingling of two kinds of water that make of the path a shore and of the river a border. Telephone engineers are quite a common sight, and you see them with their junction boxes, and I looked at them and I started wondering what it was that they actually did. It's called telephone engineer. I peer over his shoulder as he crouches over the junction box out on the main road. He guides and clips the nest of spaghetti wires, tending the lines with their silver lustre, his task as old as church bells, ringing out only for births, deaths or marriages, for the white-haired sitting straight as pins on passing buses, while schoolchildren push and shove and jabber on mobile phones. The voices flirt with extinction, cuckoo echo on the line, from numbers barely used now, while he, at his work of making sound through redundant sockets, orchestrates the dead, untangles the wires, making black speak to blue and brown to red, all the old voices loud and clear, jostling with the traffic on this busy road, tuning up for the dark with the robin song, a symphony of ghosts, whose time is short as the night is long. I'm going to read three more poems. The first of them, Autumn Equinox, is about one of those moments that seem to disappear almost as you acknowledge them. Autumn Equinox. Sun shifts in the trees, bathes the table, its slightly stale bread. How sharp the world is through the glass, as water slips over the lip of the jug, at the equinox, the halfway mark. Neither inclining to nor away from the sun, but poised like a round-bellied jug, where only a finger mark blurs the measure of past and future. Here, at the tipping point, the air's thick with talk and birdsong, and the ghosts are busy elsewhere. As time, our time, pours from its vessel a share of light equal to the share of dark, the quiet marriage of glass and water, held to the mirror of the still, clear mind. I had a very clear image of an old suitcase that was in my parents' house up in the attic, and when I wrote this poem, I called it Luggage. The big grey case, it went to Spain, it went to Greece, faded, solid and benign, stuffed with odds and ends, sarongs and batiks, and the painted kites, streaming tails delicate as lace, sold by boys on the dirt-brown strip of the gall-faced green. Back home we flew them till their heads broke, smashed, we children not skilled enough to hold them in the sky, not quick-fingered enough to keep it up, the grown world's jerky dance, its darts and twists and turns, those tall ribbons of colour, towering a moment in the grey home wind like fragile works of art, as I recall our slender ghosts, the eager children we once were, in corners of suburban halls, in city flats, in 70s schools, down childhood's narrow attic stairs, where all the cases are packed away for their long sleep, till that light wind from who knows where disturbs the flutter of cane and tissue paper, and the dark is lit again with pen and ink. Two more poems. The first one is for my stepfather, and it's called The Long Night Moon. You say again, you don't know how you used to fit everything in, you don't know where it goes, the time. It just evaporates. Watching from the balcony, it'll all be wound up, you say, by the end of next year, the old brewery. As two huge metal tanks, suspended in air like flies in aspic, are lowered over its brick wall onto waiting barges bound for elsewhere. And I find myself thinking of odds and ends, how it was always you who used to say, don't fret. Now you watch it go, time's barge slips away. As light returns again, the empty river's trick, a gleam of silverware, those centuries of beer, shiploads of sugar, yards of steel, whose yellow ledgered state, in neat black script, their clear economy of trade and deficit, while love, the one timepiece that endures, waves past debts and borrows only to exchange, is like the strange December moon, the long night moon, keeper of the light, of human dust in the vanished years, clocking the measure of our fate. This last poem is for Simon, he knows who he is, from the high mountain. This is the high mountain of miniature moss and fern, the comfort of singing wind and hardy, close-bitten grass. Wasn't it somewhere like this, I once said, among grey-whiskered lichen, bilberry and dwarf willow, love, grow old with me, I'll be your younger wife in your strangest of lands where the air is cool and thin. We discovered things together, rare alpine lilies and tiny purple saxifrage, your pale moon going for its nightly wander beside me on the pillow, our double bed in flower. And yet you hesitated all those years ago. Will I be enough for you? But now, dear heart, surely you have your answer. Our love survived the tiffs, sulks and silence too, as here in bedroom dark you slip into sleep, and I, not ready to let you go, whisper my nonsense in your ear, that even as you wander, these words may draw you near. Thank you.
Isabel Bermudez, I'll say no more. As Isabel said in one of those poems, time evaporates, and it has for Dodo modern poets Mayflower's night here at the Poetry Cafe. So delighted you did come tonight. Could we put our hands together for all of the performers once again? There's P.R. Murray. Anna Beecher. Isabel Bermudez. Peter Ellsworth. So thank you very much for coming. If you want to leave your email address, please do. The bar is still open, and it's been delightful sharing some poems with you tonight. I hope you've enjoyed it too. Good night.